Xantrex Freedom 458 inverter charger model 25. This is the 2500 watt unit. Doing some troubleshooting. I removed the temperature sensor lead right here in an attempt to figure out what's going on, thinking maybe the temperature sensor is shorted out. Probably not, but it's just one step in the troubleshooting process. When I turn the inverter on, it basically fails and goes to an over temp, fast blinking error indication. I've got my meter set up here with some leads on my battery bank. I've got a set of golf cart batteries here. These are 6 volts apiece. These two are in series, those two are in series, these two banks are in parallel, 12 volts diagonally across the whole bank. Disregard that, it was something previous owner installed. And we got a solar charger over there doing a trickle charge on this whole thing. Got my meter set up. We're just looking at 12.3 volts here on the battery bank here. So let's turn the inverter on and see what happens. And I'm going to change the video back over to the meter. Alright. Oh yeah, you're supposed to hold it in, that's right. 2. 11.6. I'm pretty snug. And then while it was buzzing like that, the inverter light was on and the charge light was blinking slowly, and now it's shut down and the internal fan has come on and the over temp / overload light is blinking red quite rapidly. So and then my battery voltage, it says it's 12.2 now, which is slightly less than it was. Obviously the inverter was drawing from this battery bank, but according to the manual it's not supposed to fail with some sort of error indication unless the battery voltage drops below 10. Looking for advice on this one. I'm going to continue to research the problem, and I think if we... That wasn't right. Alright, I got 11.65 on the meter. Okay. Now it's gone back to 12.1, so it's drawing from the batteries in a huge way. So I was going to try to turn it off, so let me try to hold the button down. See what that does. Nothing. Try it again. Disengaging this fault mode is a little troublesome. I found that it can be done from the interior remote, so I'm going to try that. We're inside in the remote area. It says the inverter is on, slowly blinking on this remote panel. So if we hit this like that, yeah, that should clear the situation. Hey, look at that. Somebody put an RV in my driveway. All right, so pressing the inverter button on the interior remote shut the unit down. I'm not sure why pressing the button here didn't do that. I don't know. We'll continue troubleshooting. All right, it should be noted that the voltage on the batteries have recovered a little bit from that little escapade there. They're back at 12.3. So as a side note, this battery tender here, which is a good device, I've got one in the house that we use for other cars, but somebody had rigged this thing up and hooked it up to shore power and or generator, and they plug it in, and they had it charging the engine cranking batteries. Furthermore, the previous owner also had a standard battery charger like you get at the parts house or whatever. Pretty good one, really, and it was sitting right there, and they had it plugged into that same house power, and it was connected to this battery bank, and they were using either the generator or shore power to charge with that battery charger these house batteries. This, when I bought this RV, was actually completely non-functional. The 30 amp breaker was popped out, and it was just dead. I was like, well, what's going on with that? So I tried to put it into use. The charge function actually works fine. I mean, it charges batteries like nobody's business, but the inverter is a problem, and I'm not sure why. So it could be the inverter is just trashed inside. if there was a problem with the AC inside the coach, you know, like a bad outlet or something, you know, that we'd be tripping breakers and stuff like that, right? I know that it does AC pass-through mode just fine. You know, whenever I'm connected to shore power with the wire there, I've got it hooked up with an adapter to 120 volts from the shop. So if you hook this thing up to shore power and it's in charge mode, you know, it charges. And if you turn the inverter on, if you press the inverter button, it'll go into inverter standby mode, which is the inverter light will blink slowly. In other words, the inverter's saying, yay, I'm happy. You know what? I'm going to sit over here and just in my little happy space. I'm not going to do anything because you're getting power from, you know, from the shore. And I'm in standby mode, so whenever you yank the power, I'll kick in and do my job. I'll do some inverting for you and get some DC power from the batteries and make some 120 volts. Well, no, it does not happen. So when you pull the cord to the shore power and it tries to engage the inverter, it does exactly what you just saw. And it just it has a freak out, man. It's like, what are you doing to me? Okay, all right, that's enough of that. Hey, I know you're about to shut down. Is that really necessary? My multimeter really wants everyone to know that it is shutting down. Caution, I am shutting down. Okay. All right, so I'm going to continue troubleshooting here and quit rambling. All right, welcome back. Did a bunch of troubleshooting out in the coach. Really didn't want to pull this inverter out of there, but I really didn't see any way to get around it. Here's your inputs right here from shore power or the generator, whichever one the transfer switch deems appropriate. And you got these two outputs here. Long story short, I did a lot of checking. If you connect either of these two outputs up and turn this inverter on, you'll get a loud buzz and for like 3 seconds, and then it'll go to, I guess you call it fail-safe mode or whatever, and the overtemp light, overload light will blink red quickly. Anyway, let's get the cover off this thing and try to figure out what in the world's going on. Got to hydrate first though. Okay, Philip said, where is Mr. Philip anyway? Have I ever done this before? No. Why would you attempt to do something like this if you've never done it before? Because it's fun. Yes, there are experts. Yes, I'll probably have to send it off to get it repaired. Or I may just have to buy a new one. This one's 16 years old. The date here is February the 17th of 2005. And oh, by the way, if you guys are thinking about pulling the inverter out of your RV, there's one thing that I've noticed in the videos I've been watching on YouTube that they won't tell you. These things are heavy as hell. So if you think you're gonna just yank it out of there and go on about your business, be prepared for that. Don't hurt yourself picking this thing up. Oh, we got screws on the top too. How about that? All right, there we go. Come on. Get on off of there. Ain't got all day. So I watched a couple of guys tear these things down on YouTube. Hopefully I won't make a mess out of it. The module right here is the power module. We're going to take this circuit board off first. How hard could it be, really? So red goes on top, the white goes in the middle, and the black goes in the bottom. How about that? How easy is that to remember? All right, let's go ahead and take this this top control board off. Yeah, this is for the interface. Looks like we've got 3 screws and a couple of connectors. Take that connector off right there. This thing's never been taken apart before. So that's a connector. It's got to come up. It's plugged in. All right, so I left that data cable connected, like just because it was easy. And it's stuck on there with some goop, so I didn't really feel like fooling with that. Do an impedance check here on these on this neutral and this hot. 0.6 ohms. That can't be right. How can that be right? All right, so let me get that power board out of there, and so I can get a close-up of it. All right, we're into it now. I've got the power board out. It's a little fiddly, but one of the main things you got to watch out for is a circuit breaker module right here. It get in a bind, and you want to be a little careful with that. Take out all the screws clearly in the front, and then you've got some of these standoffs right here that go on the top between the power board and the case. And the ground right here is screwed in down there. So the ground is screwed in right down there. Okay, I'm going to dig into this power board here a little bit and see what I can find. All right, so the inverter board is trashed on this Xantrex Freedom. Yeah, that's a misnomer. 458. As you can see, two different transistors which have been completely fried. The one on the right there and one on the left. So there may be more. I really don't know. But nonetheless, this thing is going in the garbage can. All right, we're back. I picked the most inopportune time to record here this afternoon. One of my neighbors is out mowing his. I think he's actually mowing his rocks, not his grass. But all right, so we've pretty much decided to wholesale replace everything except for the engine battery. So went downtown and picked up a USA battery. These are 6-volt golf cart batteries. 2 in series, 2 banks in parallel for a total of 12 volts, 230 amp hours a piece, so that should work out to 460 for the bank. Got that all wired up. Of course, you got the fuse there, and we have the trickle charger from the solar on the roof. The engine batteries are good to go. I'm not really worried about them. One minor detail that I think a lot of people miss when they are working on an automotive electrical system is good grounding. These 3 ground cables were basically attached to the frame rail with 1 bolt. I removed that, stripped the wires back, and I bought a new grounding bus bar from our local favorite retail outlet, and bolted that straight to the frame. And the goopy stuff that you see plastered all over the place is a anti-oxidation compound. It looks kind of nasty, but it's to prevent corrosion and water intrusion and things like that. So we have a nice ground system for the inverter charger now. All right, so the inverter, where do we stand on this old inverter? Oh, well, you know what? That's not the old inverter. That is a brand new one. I bought the same exact model, except that one was manufactured in 2020 and not in, I don't know, like 2013 or whenever the other one was. So hopefully they put some upgrades in this one to get it back into business. So anyway, so we'll just show you this thing real quick. Let's disconnect the power. Now you can actually do this from the inside, but we're going to do it from here. Oh, you got to hold it in for 5 seconds to turn the inverter on. There we go. So the inverter is on. The light is solid. The charge light is blinking because, well, it's supposed to. This is the connection for the remote inside, and this is your temperature connection for the temperature sensor, which should be bolted inside your battery compartment somewhere, not to the battery. Okay, it should be bolted to the sheet metal. It just tells the ambient temperature of your battery compartment. So let's go inside and take a look at the remote panel. Let's go ahead and turn on our chassis. Oops, no, wrong way. There we go. And we'll turn on the power. And then I've already pulled the slide out. Kind of nice in here, actually. Get a little light on the situation. And here's our panel. As you can see, we are in inverter mode. So we're good to go. We should be able to run whatever we want to run on the batteries, including the microwave, which just came on. We need to set the clock real quick. There we go. Clock set. If you want to run the microwave, let's see. Oh yeah, popcorn. There you go. We're running on a microwave on batteries. How cool is that? We got a little bit of work to do before we get this thing back on the road. Need to tidy that up. I had removed the old-fashioned DVD player. Need to tidy up those wires. Get ourselves a modern LCD to stream from our phone or something like that, you know. And the boudoir is good to go as well. Very tidy, very clean indeed. The big old Cummins 5.9 liter ISB is underneath the bed, but we'll save that for a later video. Now, if we were connected to house power, you could come over here and hit the charge button, and the inverter would shut off, and this and the house power would go ahead and start charging the battery bank. But we got a full battery bank, so we really don't need to do that. This power share thing, so if you're connected to the house power, I tell you what, let's go ahead and plug in the RV, and let's just show you how that works. So we got a, ignore my garbage there, got a 50 amp RV outlet just installed on the front of the shop, and actually really enjoying that. It's very, very convenient indeed. This is the cover for the plug. I got to set it up there. All right, so we'll go ahead and plug in our 50 amp service. Let's see if we can do this with one hand. And you'll probably hear the transfer switch kick on. Yep, there it goes. And we give that a little twist. And we'll tighten this guy down. There we go. Now, we should be in charge mode. Yeah. We're in charge mode. The charge light is on, and the inverter light is blinking. Because we're on house power, we don't need the inverter, right? So, all right, let's go ahead and show you how the power share function works on the interior. All right, so we're in charge mode. Okay, so you got a little flashy light right there. Okay. We don't want to mess with the inverter. The power share. Now, we're charging, right? If you press the power, now we're charging at 5 amps, basically. This incoming AC breaker amps, power share. What this is how many amps do you want to send to your battery bank? Do you want to charge 5 amps, 15? You want to send the whole 50, you know? We don't want to do that, really. Let's say 20, okay? So I'm going to send 20 amps to the battery bank and charge them with that 20 amps, and the rest of it, the 30, is left for the RV. So that's just a way to, you know, if your battery's like really low or something, and let's say you want to leave for the day or whatever, you're not going to be around your RV, you can run this thing up to 50 and let it really, you know, and let it really charge quickly while you're out. And then when you come back, you can run that back down to 5. So that is basically the power share function. You'll notice that the inverter light is blinking, okay, quite slowly. Blink, like that. So the inverter is in standby since we're connected to the to house power. All right, folks, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this video. This is gonna be the first video in a series that I'm gonna do on our new RV. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with this thing. Our electrical system is good to go. We got a brand new inverter. We got a brand new set of house batteries. The inverter function works perfectly. The charge function works perfectly. We're good to go on that front. So pretty soon, I think we're going to take this thing out for the weekend and give it a shakedown. But hey, listen, I appreciate you guys stopping by the channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you'd like to be notified whenever I release a new video. Don't forget to click that little bell down below. You guys have a good one, and remember to enjoy driving your classic motorhome. Yeah, that's it. 7,500 watts of Onan quiet diesel power. We'll do a video on that later on.